Various safe certifications. And when it comes to non-certification training, I have trained over 5,000 people on various Agile, Scrum, and development practices. I'm also a speaker at multiple Agile conferences here in Australia, as well as back in India. Any specific questions before we get started? Any thoughts on SAFe? Are you aware of that, or what do you think? What are your thoughts on SAFe? Good, bad, okay, not okay?
I would say it depends on how your organization is set up, right? Some of them are definitely quite mature to start transitioning into a scaled agile framework, whereas some of them are very initial, and then they kind of take on the journey, which obviously is not beneficial or doesn't give them the right results. So I think it's okay. At a point where the organization is, and the maturity, which again, like we say, right, not all one size fits all, right? So we'll have to see what works. But again, SAFe is one of the most used scaled frameworks.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask my question in a different way. So we all talk about descaling, right? Reducing the complexity, making things simple. Yeah. Then why do we want to scale Agile? So I'm not sure if many of you have seen this. This is the scaled Agile framework. I'm just pinging you the details here in the Zoom chat. So this is the entire scaled Agile framework, this big picture. This is called as the scaled Agile big picture. So we always talk about small Agile teams. This one, where you have a product owner, a Scrum Master, and a delivery team. Now, if looking at this big picture, anyone will be scared, right? Why are we bringing so much complexity into an overall delivery structure? Is it even worth to go SAFe? Why can't we just deliver as a small Agile team or a single Agile team? Why do you think we need to scale? What are your thoughts?
So, Kiran, hi, this is Shikha here. So, I think the teams, if we have a cross-functional teams in an organization, and as my fellow friend said that, if we have at the organization level, if we are matured to interact within a agile teams, maybe, we are going to go in a little complex way for a scaled agile. I might not be really correct. That's why I'm here. I'm looking forward after this session to understand that which organizations needs to go for the scale agile, and what are the advantages, or what are the good environment to implement the framework of the safe agile.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a very, very generic example. Let's say you're traveling in a single car. You're traveling from city A to city B. If at all you have to change your direction, can you do it easily? Yeah.
No. Yes.
You can easily change it, right? It's a single car. You can easily change your direction. Yeah. Because you take the decision. Now, let's say you're a convoy of around 100 cars. You're a group of 100 cars traveling on a specific journey. Now, if at all you have to change your direction, is it easy? It requires a lot of synchronization between all the cars, right? Yeah. What do you think?
Or maybe we need a leader over here, who will lead all the people, like in one particular direction.
Exactly. So even if you have a leader, right, changing in that direction will require a lot of high-level guidance, high-level strategy. Nowadays, that's what is missing. Sorry?
And good communication.
Exactly, good communication. So nowadays, that's what is missing in organizations. You might have heard of this term, right? Business agility. Has anyone heard of it? We are not talking about, or we don't want to focus on team level agility. Team level agility is fine. That's important. Yeah, we focus on that. But what do we want to target is reach a state of business agility. Changing the direction at team level, changing the priorities at team level, planning, replanning, reworking at team level. It's pretty easy. Most companies are already doing that. But how can you reach a state of business agility where you as an organization, you can understand what are your threats, what are your opportunities, how quickly can you understand that and adapt your approach, change your approach to that? Organizations should strive to reach a state of business agility. That's the reason we want to focus on SAFE, because the team level agile advantages needs to be scaled at enterprise level to reach that state of business agility. That should be the goal of SAFE. That's the reason some of you have already said that, right? SAFE is the most popular scaling framework for agile ways of working, because SAFE is targeting on business agility. As part of today's session, what we'll try to do is, we'll try to understand, if at all your organization needs to achieve a state of business agility, what are the core competencies that you need to focus on, or that your organization needs to focus on? That's what we will discuss. SAFE is a very, very vast concept. We have 16 certifications in SAFE. Leading SAFE, SAFE Scrum Master, SAFE Product Owner. So it just in 1.5 hour session, we will not cover the entire big picture. So as part of today's session, what we'll do is, we'll specifically cover what are the 7 core competencies that an organization needs to reach the state of business agility. Now, let me ask you a different question. Most of the organizations are software organizations, right, that are following Agile. So what are your thoughts? Is Agile, or does Agile only work for software organizations, or will it work for any type of work or any type of organization?
It works for any kind of organization.
Yeah.
Irrespective of, yeah, it can work in any segment.
Yeah, perfect. So it can work in any segment. That's a misconception where people feel it's only related to software. So it can work for any segment. That's what we are trying to focus on. For example, let's say you are a software team. You are delivering every 2 weeks. Now, to reach this product, or this product is going into market, but the marketing team is very, very slow. Their marketing campaigns are done once every quarter. So it doesn't matter how quickly your software team is delivering the products, right? The marketing team is very, very slow. So what we want to do is, we want to reach a state of business agility where we are not focusing on a simple software system. We are focusing on an entire business solution. So let me show you that. What we want to do is, so this is the first module from Leading SAFE course. I'll just show you a couple of slides. What we want to do is, many times people focus on this, software applications. Yes, software teams are working on software applications. They are important, but what we need to focus as an enterprise are business solutions. That means you deliver a particular product or service. For that, development, finance, people, marketing, legal, operations, all the departments should work together. Only then that becomes a business solution. If you just try to deliver something into production without the approval of legal team, it won't work, right? You'll not be able to support the customer with that particular product or service. What do you think? Without proper marketing, without proper legal approvals, you can't deliver something into production, right? So it doesn't matter how quickly you deliver your software applications if they cannot be converted into business solutions. For this reason, what you need to do is, all the people who are involved in delivering business solutions, they should use lean and agile practices. Then only you can reach a state of business agility. That should be your goal. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Any thoughts on business agility, reaching that state of business agility? Or have you heard that kind of statements in your organization where your organization is trying to reach that state? Because most of the times we hear only changes at team level, right? We are following Scrum, we are following Kanban. What about that state where we are focusing on something beyond software? What are your thoughts on that?
Kiran, I have a question here. So, I understand that, like for the business agility, to achieve that, we are involving all the departments over here. So, how it is different when agile coach and in an organization we are doing Scrum of Scrums, where different cross-functional teams are involved and practicing the Scrum along in a guidance of an agile coach. So how it is different than the safe agile?
Yeah, perfect question. So when you're talking about Scrum of Scrums, right? As the name itself indicates, you are forcing the team or you're forcing every team to follow by default Scrum. Yeah. What do you think? Guys, just a request. If you're not talking, please be on mute. Yeah. I see someone is getting a call. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So many times what happens is Scrum might not be feasible for some teams, right? Some teams prefer Kanban. Let's say you're interacting with an external vendor, an external team who are not at all agile. How are you going to align your Scrum of Scrum structure with them? So every vendor, every team might have its own way of working, right? So you have to create alignment between all those teams and streamline the approach. That can be done better with Scaled Agile. Because Scaled Agile doesn't force you to use only Scrum. You're free to use whatever Agile framework you want at team level. All we focus is synchronization of work.
Understand. Thank you.
Let's look at the slides again here. So once we are talking about business agility, right, let's look at some technological revolutions. There are 5 technological revolutions. Started off with industrial revolution, age of steam and railway, heavy engineering, oil mass production, and digital age. Right now we are in digital age. So every revolution has 3 phases: an installation phase, a turning point, and a deployment phase. Now, many people feel 2020 is the turning point for software or the dot-com boom. What do you think? Is it 2000 or 2020? What do you think is the turning point for digital age or software? What do you think?
(2020).
2020? Yeah, that's when people actually realize, right, how valuable it is to be online. How important it is to be your business is more relevant when you're online. The presence of your digital presence, that's when people realize it, right? So that's how you realize the importance of it. So to reach that state of business agility, specifically in this digital world, what you need to do is you need to focus on these core competencies. So these are the 7 core competencies that an organization should use to reach a state of business agility. Every core competency focuses on customer centricity. Have that mindset. Think everything about customer. And the base, the most important core competency is lean agile leadership. Because any agile transformation, right, by default, you need support of your leadership. So the default and the most important core competency is lean agile leadership. Then you have 3 core competencies focusing on delivery. Get your team level structure right. Get your team level agility, technical agility properly. Once you have your team level structure right, scale it to product level delivery. Deliver as a product. Once you are able to deliver it as a product, scale that to enterprise level. But for all this to work, what you need to do is you need to focus on setting up a separate team or a department called lean portfolio management. You need to focus on creating a culture of continuous learning and ultimately reach a state of organizational agility. So this is just like a summary. What we'll do is let's go through each and every core competency in detail. The advantage with this big picture is every icon is a clickable hyperlink. So here are all the core competencies. And the lean agile leadership is here. So if you want to learn more about that, just click on that. So let's start with lean agile leadership. So let me click on that. So here it is. When you're talking about lean agile leadership, right? This lean agile leadership has 3 sub-dimensions. The first one, mindset and principles. So this is the case with most leaders, right? They feel that when you talk about leadership, right, they are successful. They have experience of around 20, 25, 15 years. That's the reason they are in that state. So they will be in a fixed mindset where they feel, I have already been successful for 10, 20 years and I'm in this position. I need not learn anything. That's a bad thing. Don't be in that situation. You as a leader, move away from fixed mindset, move towards growth mindset. Understand what are lean principles, understand what are agile principles, understand what you need to learn, and then move forward. So there is a saying, right, which says, the illiterate of this millennium are not the people without education, but are the people who cannot unlearn and relearn. So technology, business practices, ways of working are changing over a period of time drastically. You as a leader, you develop that growth mindset where you are learning or unlearning things that are no longer required. So develop that mindset and principles. Develop that growth mindset. The second one, you as a leader, lead by example. That means be authentic in your behavior. Authentic in the sense, if you give a word, stick to that. Be professional in your behavior. Focus on emotional intelligence. Now, this is one of the most important factors that is being looked into when you're trying to select a leader. Any thoughts on what is emotional intelligence? Anyone? Any thoughts? What is emotional intelligence?
It's like, yeah, sorry, you can go ahead.
Emotional intelligence is nothing but just understanding what the emotional status of the another person is, acting with empathy.
Yep, perfect. Yep.
Instead of reacting, just responding.
Yeah, perfect.
Acting to the situation.
Exactly. See, all 3 of you are right. When you're talking about emotional intelligence, right, you need to take care of 2 things. Your own emotions and the emotions of others. So when you are angry, when you are sad, how can you control your emotions? How can you be more streamlined? If someone opposite person is sad, how can you empathize with them? How can you understand their situation? Understand your own emotions and understand others' emotions and respond based on that particular situation. Be intelligent in that part. That's emotional intelligence. Focus on being a lifelong learner, like we discussed, right? Don't assume that you have been successful for 10, 15 years. That doesn't guarantee your future success. Yeah, you have to be a lifelong learner. I'll give you one example. So when I was studying 10th class, right, my parents told me that this is a life's turning point. Just focus on this. After that, then came intermediate. They said, just focus on this. You'll get a good college. After that, engineering. They said, just focus on your grades. You'll get your job. After I got my job, right, I have done more education than my entire career once I started my job. Every 2 years, I have to learn something new. Every 1 year, I have to do a certification. I have to compete, stay relevant. So it's a lifelong journey. We can never end that. So focus on being a lifelong learner. Grow others. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Grow others. What do you mean by grow others? So leadership is all about leading people, right? Why should I grow people?
So my philosophy says that if you have to grow, the void that you create has to be filled in by someone else. So you have to grow someone else to fill your void.
Exactly. See, leadership is not about gaining more followers. Leadership is all about developing more leaders. So grow others, mentor them, guide them technically, professionally. See if you can develop more leaders. That's your goal as a leader. and focus on decentralizing some decisions. Don't keep all the decisions with you. Decentralize some decisions so that others can take informed decisions. And you're eliminating any delay because people need not wait for you. If they have enough information, if they have enough skill set, let them take the call. So decentralize some decisions. And the third dimension is leading the change. See, whenever you're talking about agile transformation, right? If an external consultant comes and if they are leading the change, the organization or the team members will see them as a threat, an external entity. Rather than that, if you as a leader within your own organization, you are leading that change, you are leading that transformation, people will see you as a champion. To focus on you being that change champion and lead that change. What do you think?
Right.
Has anyone observed this?
Yeah.
So focus on you being that change agent and lead that change. That's the first core competency. The second one is team and technical agility. See, when you are building a house, right? Let's say you're building a brick house. What if the basic quality of the brick you're building is bad? Your overall house will be bad, right? Yeah. So when you're talking about team and technical agility, yeah, thank you. So that's what we are talking about. When you want to focus on scaled agile, first, get your basic team level structure right. Get the required product owner, scrum master, agile team structure properly. Make sure they are delivering things properly. Make sure they are having the required mindset, the required cadence, the required delivery structure. Once this basic team level structure is done, focus on more technical practices like built-in quality practices. That means focus on automation, focus on pair programming, focus on collective ownership. That means it's not like a responsibility of one person to validate. It should be an aggregate responsibility of the whole team. Focus on quality practices. Focus on establishing flow. What do you mean by flow? What do you think?
It is some kind of process improvement, like how our process is from end-to-end process, something like that.
Okay, some kind of process improvement. Yeah, okay. What else? What do you mean by
It's also
flow?
one kind of Agile, lean principle.
Yeah, perfect. It's a lean principle. Yeah, okay. It implements lean practices. Yeah. So let's take a small example. So when I was working with Telstra as an agile coach, I was actually allocated a revenue assurance team to work with. It's a very, very short engagement, 1 month. What they told me is they were extremely resistant. They said that we are not a software team. We don't need an agile coach. We're not building a website. Why do we need an agile coach? So my question was, I said, like, let's start with basic assessment for 1 week. If you don't need a coach, that's fine. I'll move on to a different assignment. My focus is this. How do you establish flow? So what I asked them is, what is your size of the team? The size of 40 people. How many initiatives are you handling? They are handling 120 initiatives. How many are in progress? 80 initiatives are in progress. When do you prioritize your work? They prioritize their work once every financial year. Now, if you look at their delivery structure, it is like this. You start something, it goes into progress. You start something, it goes into progress, and nothing is closed. Do you see that? There is a huge bulge here in the delivery structure, yeah? Too much work in progress. Your delivery structure should not be like this. It should be like this. You're continuously delivering value without any delays or bulges. So my question is, you're a team of 40 people. Let's visualize our work. Let's set up a Kanban board. Now understand how many initiatives we have in progress. 80. Why are we taking 80 initiatives in progress? That's too much work in progress. Rather than prioritizing your requirements once every year, can we prioritize it once every quarter? Rather than taking 80 initiatives into progress, let's take the top 20 first. Deliver them. Take the next top 20. So my focus is on establishing flow. So focus on that. By default, wherever I go as an Agile coach, this is the first step I try to implement. HR team, marketing team, pure testing team, production support, doesn't matter. Just focus on this. Visualize your work. Understand your work in progress. Reduce that. Prioritize regularly. Yes, Sarla, you have a question?
By mistake, it got hit.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Yep, focus on that. Establish flow. And definition of done. Anyone knows what's definition of done?
This is all about at the beginning what we thought we will be completing exactly.
Exactly.
With respect to the quality or of the deliverable.
Yep, exactly.
Output.
So if you have a piece of requirement or if you have a piece of work, what are all the steps you need to ensure that this piece of job is done? So you define a checklist. That's the definition of that. So you are validating that. That is focusing on built-in quality. And the last segment in team and technical agility is focus on teams of agile teams. So rather than one agile team delivering value, in scaled agile, what we do is we form a group of 5 to 12 agile teams together. That 5 to 12 agile teams will be called as an agile release train. So get your basic team level structure right. Make sure your team is focusing on agile values, practices, principles. Once that is done, focus on built-in quality practices, where you're focusing on eliminating delays, having collective ownership, focusing on pair programming, focusing on automation, definition of done. Once that basic structure is correct, it's perfectly fine. Then scale your teams. Rather than one team, form a group of 5 to 12 agile teams and create an agile release train. What is a release train? What are the lower level details in that? That's a different concept. We'll not cover that today. But here we are just forming groups of agile teams. That's the second core competency. So we covered two core competencies. The first one is lean agile leadership. The second one is team and technical agility. Any questions so far before we move on to the third one?
Yes, yeah, I have a question. So with related to the establishing flow, right? So teams which are working in the traditional style, how do we introduce that? How do we figure out what is lacking in the in the proper flow? What are the techniques for that?
That's a challenge with the traditional approach, right? See, in traditional approach, what happens is you're focused on your own silo. There is no flow there. It's all boxes, right? You have development as a box. You have testing as a box. You have analysis as a box. You just focus on your own box, right? That's a traditional approach. That's a challenge with traditional approach. There is no flow process there. What we're doing is, see, when I joined my company as a fresher long back, they said, think out of the box. So I was not sure what they meant. Now I realize that, right? Think out of the box. That means don't be limited to your own component of work. Think out of the box. How is customer value being delivered? How is the other component team working? Break your box and create a circle where every individual skill set will work together with others, focusing on delivering value to customer. So there you are establishing that flow. So that is not a possibility with your traditional way of waterfall delivery. That's a disadvantage with that because you are still stuck in your own box. That's a challenge. Yeah. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, I was actually asking, okay, for a traditional team, if they're transforming to Agile, how do we bring in this concept of flow? How do we find out the gaps and then introduce this?
Create cross-functional teams rather than component teams. Create cross-functional teams. A cross-functional team means it's a group of 3 to 9 people where they can take a piece of work and they can deliver it into production with least dependencies on external teams. That means they have requirement analysis, or they have a BA, they have a developer, they have a tester, they have deployment support, whatever you need, right? All the members should be part of this cross-functional team. So they should be in a position to take a particular piece of work, analyze it, build it, test it, compile it, and deliver it into production. So create this kind of cross-functional teams so that you can focus on optimizing flow rather than having component teams. That's the whole point, right? That's the whole point we are discussing in team and technical agility. First, get your cross-functional teams up and running. Move away from your component structure. Testing team, development team, business analysis team, system integration team. These are all component teams. Break them. Don't have component teams. Where it is, right? These are all components. Business is a component. Hardware is a component. Software is a component. Don't focus on component teams. Create cross-functional teams that are cutting across multiple components. Create those agile teams. Once your agile teams are good, focus on built-in quality practices. Once you have achieved the agile teams in built-in quality, create your release train, which is a group of 5 to 10 team members. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So now once you have got your basic team level structure, what you need to do is focus on product delivery. Even in agile product delivery, we have 3 sub-dimensions. The first one is customer centricity and design thinking. Has anyone heard of this? Customer centricity, design thinking? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like design thinking is a process where we can think around the customer to give more value to the customer, how the customer can be benefited, what is the requirement from the customer, something, exploring something around the customer.
Yeah. See, just to correct that, we are talking about customer centricity. What you said is customer centricity. Customer centricity is a mindset where we try to see how exactly we can deliver better value to customer. But to implement this mindset, we use design thinking. So inherently, you are right.
Yeah.
So to implement the customer centricity mindset, we use design thinking. Any thoughts on design thinking? Anyone? Any thoughts on design thinking?
Like creating something like empathy maps.
Yeah, that's one type of design thinking. Yeah, that's empathy maps is one type of design thinking. So what I'll do is I came to this big picture. I want to learn more about design thinking. So I just click on that. So let's see that what happens. So this is design thinking. If you see here in design thinking, what happens is you try to understand a problem first, because a problem well understood is problem half solved. So first, you try to understand the problem. To understand the problem, what you'll do is you'll focus on evaluating multiple options by diverging. So you'll say that we are trying to understand this problem. Let's understand multiple concepts in that, multiple options in that. So you will diverge. So this is called as the divergent curve, where you are trying to discover, am I identifying the problem right? At every divergent curve, you take feedback from customer. Then based on the customer feedback, based on the options you have evaluated, you will converge. That means you'll eliminate your options and you'll define what exactly is the problem. Now you have understood the problem. Then again, you need to define or deliver a solution for that. So you go into the divergent curve again. We'll try to understand. To solve this problem, what is the right solution? You'll diverge into multiple options you're trying to develop. At every option, you'll try to take feedback from customer. Based on the customer feedback, you'll try to converge and deliver the right solution. Whatever solution you deliver using design thinking is desirable, viable, feasible, and sustainable. Focus on implementing the customer centricity mindset through design thinking. Focus on that. That's how you can deliver extremely good agile products. Yeah, that is customer centricity and design thinking. Now, the next dimension is develop on cadence and release on demand. See, cadence is an interesting term, right? What do you mean by cadence? What do you think? What do you mean by cadence?
Rhythm or sequence of the events.
Exactly. It's a rhythm or something that happens on a frequency, right? So when do we get Saturday? Yeah, once every 7 days. Yeah, it's something that's happening on rhythm or cadence. So that's what you need to do. Let's say you are 10 teams delivering together. All the 10 teams should be on a 2-week cadence. That means they start their planning and deliver every 2 weeks. And what they need to do is you also need to focus on synchronizing your work. How do you do that? Let me show you one slide here. How do you focus on synchronizing your work? What you need to do is you need to focus on synchronizing your work. Many times people focus on cadence, but they miss synchronization. So what you need to do is, let's say here you are 4 teams, 3 teams. All the teams should start their iteration together and end their iteration together. So you're on a cadence of 2 weeks and you're also synchronizing your work. So is this followed in your organizations? In the organizations that I work right now, by default, every team in the enterprise should align with a 2-week sprint. And we start our iteration or sprint on a Wednesday and end it the next Tuesday. 2 weeks. So we are all on sync. That means if at all we want to plan, understand the dependencies, work with other dependent teams, we are easily able to do that because we are on cadence and synchronization across the enterprise. How do you think? How is it done in your organizations? Is it the same thing or is it something different?
Yes,
or you are having that? Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So focus on that. Focus on that synchronization. And the last one is focus on creating a continuous delivery pipeline. How you are trying to create that continuous delivery pipeline is form an agile release train, where you're a group of 5 to 10 teams, 5 to 12 teams. You're continuously exploring customer needs. You're continuously integrating your work. You're continuously deploying product into production. So focus on establishing that. So you form a continuous delivery pipeline where you are delivering value continuously. That means it's not like you have a requirement phase, a development phase, a deployment phase. There are no phases. Everything is happening continuously. The team is analyzing requirements 20 to 30. When the teams are analyzing the requirements 20 to 30, they're already integrating and deploying requirements 1 to 30. They're releasing based on the customer demand. So focus on continuously doing everything. Yeah, Bhavni, you have a question?
Sorry, I have a question regarding the design thinking. If we can.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Ladies also. Okay. I just wanted to understand, like, this is again a process which is oriented to the customer centricity. But at what level this happens? At what level we can bring that to the teams? Who will be the key contributors for this process?
Yeah, product owner and product manager. So specifically, if you're talking about design thinking, right? The design thinking capability or the design thinking responsibility is with the product manager, this person.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, right? Yeah, go ahead.
It's like we are doing some kind of retrospective meetings at the team level, and we are trying to identify some problems in the process, and we are doing the same thing. Is it the same kind of built? It will be at the product management level for this design thinking. Is it so?
Okay.
Like we will be identifying some process which need to be improved, and
yeah. So like I said, right, SAFe is a very, very vast concept. We have like 16 certifications in SAFe. So here we are talking about product manager, which is a whole different topic. But since you asked this question, let's quickly discuss this. Yeah. So in Scaled Agile, the requirement hierarchy is at portfolio level, you have your epics. Okay.
Yeah.
Once you come down, there is a level called large solution level. At large solution, you have your capabilities. The next level is at your release train, agile release train. Here you have features. And the last one is team level. The team level, you have user stories. Okay. Now what happens is, once an epic is coming from portfolio level to your release train, someone need to break it down into smaller chunks, right? An epic needs to be broken down into features. Yeah.
Yeah.
That exercise is done by product manager, and they use design thinking tools to break it down into features.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of a certification called Agile Product Management, APM. We'll discuss all the techniques there. What is design thinking? How you get an epic? Once you get an epic, how do you break it down into multiple features? How do you feed it to your release train? Yeah. So there we use multiple design thinking techniques. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kiran. It's so clear.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. The next one is solution delivery. I just opened the summary slide for you that we just saw from a leading SAFe or from business agility. So what we did is we are discussing core competencies. We started off with lean agile leadership. We discussed team and technical agility. We discussed agile product delivery. Now we are moving into enterprise solution delivery. So let's discuss this. Enterprise solution delivery. Bhavani, you have a question?
No.
I see you raised hand. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I just lowered the hand.
Okay, cool. Yeah. See, when you're talking about enterprise solution delivery, right? Even this has 3 sub-dimensions. The first one, lean system and solution engineering, coordinate your trains, and evolve your live systems. Let's take this step by step. Yeah. See, in waterfall, what happens? Let's say you have 1,000 requirements. In waterfall, what happens? What do you do? You analyze all the 1,000 requirements, right? Yeah.
Yes.
You analyze all the 1,000 requirements.
Then you design for all of them.
Yeah, exactly. You design for all of them. You code all of them. Yeah. Now, what we are trying to do is we want to lean the system and solution engineering. So if you see here, do you see this? There is a variable part and a fixed part. Do you see that? Is it visible? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you see, the variable part is more at the beginning and the fixed part is very, very small. But over a period of time, the fixed part is increasing and the variable part is coming down. Yeah. You see that? Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we do. What we do is when you start something, when you have 1,000 requirements, you start off with fixing a minimum set of requirements. We'll say that, hey, these 100 are really, really important. Let's analyze only 100 and let's create a design for only these. So you're leaning your system. You'll fix a minimum set of requirements and design. Then, if you can't deliver it using one release stream, you'll try to combine 2 or 3 release streams. You'll deliver them together. If you have any external vendors, if you have any external suppliers, synchronize your work with them. coordinate your release streams, coordinate your suppliers, deliver this into production. See how the customer is responding. Then, based on the feedback you get from customer, fix the next set of design and requirements. So by this, what you are doing is you're continuously evolving your live systems and slowly increasing the fixed part. With that, you can always inspect and adapt. You're not, by default, you're not assuming that the customer needs all the requirements. You're trying to take a small step and analyze every step. Is it what the customer really needs? Am I delivering the right product or not? That's how you move forward. So lean your system and solution engineering. Coordinate your trades. If you have any vendors, suppliers, coordinate with them as well. Continuously evolve your live systems in production, and based on that feedback, take the next step. That's how you can deliver extremely large enterprise-specific solutions. Raghuram, you have a question on configuration management. So I just want to understand, what do you mean by configuration management? Because it means multiple things to multiple people. So I'm just trying to understand what's your question. I'm not sure if you're talking. Maybe if you're talking, you're on mute. Okay, we'll come back to Raghuram. Yeah, someone has a question. Yeah, Sarla?
Yeah, I have a question regarding this continuous integration or getting the requirements. So at first, we will be having these 100 requirements, but in the midst or in the middle of the requirement or the sprint release, if customers keep on changing the requirements and the tools they want to utilize the very latest ones, so then how can we accommodate that request in lean or safe practice?
What I'm saying is we need to inspect and adapt, right? See, in waterfall, what happens is, let's say you have 1,000 requirements. Yeah. By default, you deliver all the 1,000. Yeah. I'll give you a different example. Okay. In how many messaging apps do you have on your smartphone?
It will be more than 3.
More than 3? Okay. Maybe you should ask a teenager, right? They'll say 20. Yeah.
Okay.
How many we have in marketplace?
In
maybe 100? 100? Yeah. Now, what I'll say is, I'll create an app called Unify. What will that do is, that will integrate all the messaging applications into a single one. So it doesn't matter if you have 20, 30 or 40 installed on your smartphone, everything will be combined into a single application. Do you think it's a good feature? You just need to open one app, right, every time. Yeah.
Yeah, but if the apps are different, and if you want to get notifications for each and every one, will be there any kind of automation? If you are saying that Unify,
we'll unify everything, and you'll just need to open single app so that you need not open multiple apps and focus on multiple notifications. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like an interesting idea, right? So let's say I want to integrate it. I want to integrate it for both Android and iOS. So we have 1,000 messaging apps in iOS, 100 in iOS and 100 in Android. I give a budget of around 50 million and I take 2 years to deliver this. Now, after I deliver, none of the customer is interested in using this product. Because when I started my program or project, I assumed that the customer will like this Unify app. Yeah, that's my assumption, right?
Okay.
So now what I'm saying is, let's lean our system and solution engineering. Rather than integrating 100 apps across Android and iOS, just focus on 5 apps. Focus on 5 apps in Android only, or focus on 5 apps in only iOS. Lean your system and solution engineering. Coordinate with all your teams and deliver that into production. See how the customer is responding. The customer has some suggestions. The customer wants some additional notifications, some clarity, better user experience improvement. If they are a priority, work on those. The customer don't have any enhancements. They want additional apps to be integrated. If that's the priority, add more apps. The customer want removal of ads. If that's the priority, add that feature. So now you have a chance to implement the immediate important feature based on customer feedback, right? What do you think?
Yes.
Now, maybe rather than 50 million, I will only spend 5 million. Rather than 2 years, maybe I can deliver this in 6 months. Yeah. So that's the advantage here.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. someone, I think Deepak, you have a question?
Yeah. See,
Yeah, Deepak.
For banking projects, we deliver a set of features or CRs in one particular solution tray. And once the client receives that, no, they create a kind of backlogs on kind of defects related. So how is that we are going to fit it in? Because the next set of CR or the gaps needs to be connected, and the next the resources will be connected with this particular coordination train on the next release. So before that, these kinds of backlogs come. So how is that we are going to fit it that into this thing, so that we are able to do, because continuously that kind of backlog.
I get that.
And that too is challenging for banking projects.
Yeah, it's a challenge for every project. So what we need to understand is we need to focus on this kind of a capacity plan. So generally what happens is, let's say these are your team members. Yeah.
Okay.
And let's say you have 100% capacity. Many a times when you're in a vendor and a client engagement, what happens is, by default, the client expects 100% of your effort on new enhancements or features. Yeah, that's the case, right? Yeah. But you need to discuss with your client. There are still some defects, some unplanned activities that we have to take care of, production defects, support activities. So I will dedicate 70% of my capacity to deliver new features, new stories. 30% will be dedicated to defect fixing, miscellaneous activities. For some teams, this can be 50-50. For some other teams, this can be 80-20. You need to negotiate it based on your dynamics. If at all I don't get this unplanned activity, I will identify a stretch objective. I'll deliver that.
Okay.
If I get unplanned activities, I'll do those unplanned activities, defect fixing, but I will not deliver my stretch objective. But by default, I'll deliver my sprint objective. That's the kind of capacity planning and negotiation you have to do with your stakeholders. Yeah. Good. Raghuram, your question. We'll just continue with that. Configuration management.
Yeah, I'm Raghuram. Hello.
Yeah.
Is it audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Yeah. In V model, there is a person config lead who is doing all configuration related activities. Finally, he will create delivery related stuff. Build. And whatever in V model, delivery configuration lead will be there. Is there something here it is there, or what is that 9 member you are restricting 9 number, right? What is that 9 include roles?
What do you mean by 9? We don't have any 9. So what do you mean by 9?
3 to 9 you mentioned, right, in the first slide.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm saying that the size of a team should be from 3 to 9 people. Yeah. See, when you're talking about configuration management, right, like I said, everyone has their own terms for that. Specifically, whenever you're talking about configuration management, right, let's say you have an asset, a microservice, whatever it is, right? You need to maintain that.
What are these 9 people doing that work? Actually, there are some activities which is other than coding and testing. There are some activities which has to be performed at the configuration level.
Yeah, so, see, it's just not configuration. There can be multiple other things, right? Let's say you have a legal team, you have a compliance team, you have marketing team, HR team, right? So there are certain teams or team members or some activities that sit outside your release train or outside your agile teams. So they can be part of your shared services team. So let's say your organization really requires a configuration management and they are not part of your agile team. They can be part of shared services team. Where
can you zoom this? I couldn't see correctly. What is that? Can you zoom?
Shared services team.
Oh, okay.
So these are not dedicated to one team, but they are shared across multiple teams. Yeah. Shared services. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So focus on establishing that kind of a team.
So shared means it is at the portfolio level or single team Scrum team level. There are 4 Scrum teams of each 8-member team, and like this, another set of 4 is there for portfolio level. So where this shared comes into picture. So their availability, the Scrum Master has to take the responsibility to check the availability of the person, and because our config work is more.
Exactly. Yes, that's how you have to prioritize. They become a bottleneck, but that's the challenge.
So
you have
who?
So you have an Agile team 1, Agile team 2, Agile team 3, Agile team 4. Yeah, let's say you are 4 teams. Then you have another set of teams, Agile team 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's say this shared services team is shared between both this and this group. Then you have to take a priority call. You have to book their time, right? When do we need their support? When are we dependent on them? That needs to be planned upfront between both those groups. That's the reason they become a bottleneck sometimes. To eliminate that, we try to make all the people part of your team. But based on your organization dynamic, if that's not a possibility, you still have your shared services team and you just have to live with that.
Now, who is creating this shared thing? Like product owner is, because the resource is billable and the particular config management resource is needed and billable. So who product owner is sending the request, or Scrum Master, and how to bill it? The billable resource for one project.
Exactly. See, for example, let's say you have a piece of requirement. The product owner is analyzing it with the team, saying that, hey, we have a requirement, let's analyze this. The team will analyze that and say, for this, we need support from configuration management. Then the configuration management team needs to be engaged. When you want to engage the configuration team, they will say, yes, we are ready to engage, but do you have a billable code for our work? The product owner should take a call. Yes, we have a billable code for your work. You can use this billable code and provide a service. That's the kind of communication that happens between the product owner and the shared services team. Because without billing, they can't work, right?
Correct. Thank you.
Yes.
That's exactly answers. It's a product owner is the first initiative. Scrum Master will be secondary role.
You see, it depends upon organization dynamics. In some organizations, right, Scrum Master should take care of this. For example, in my organization, right, the billing codes are all with Scrum Masters. They will take care of that.
Mostly product owner have the financial budgeting and other things, not Scrum Master. Financial is handled by product owner.
Yeah. Like I said, it depends from organization to organization, but yes, ideally it's with product owner. Yeah, so they need to take care of that.
Who have the financial control of the project.
See, there is no concept called project here. All we are talking about is a product. So project is a waterfall term, so we just don't have projects here. Yeah.
Okay, good. Correct. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so we discussed 4 parts. We discussed all these 4. Lean Agile leadership, team and technical agility, Agile product delivery, and enterprise solution delivery. Yeah. If someone has any question, we'll take that and then we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, Deepan here once again.
Yeah, Deepan.
They are also having a kind of, once before starting off with the user stories or something like that, before the user stories, this particular business process flow on how we can progress or something like that. So how to fit that before the user stories, or what time or what duration like that in this particular process in our safe, because there are lots of teams and there are different modules, right? So they would like to have an overall overview understanding on the design flow, like how
exactly. The answer is design thinking. We just discussed that previously, right?
Okay.
Once you get a big piece of requirement, an epic from portfolio level, once you get it to your release train level or your group of teams level, you have to break it down into multiple features. So you engage various design thinking techniques to break that into multiple features. So this is where you will get that end-to-end flow visibility and break it into smaller chunks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you will be giving a speculated time for that, time frame like that for that?
To do this activity, design thinking activity?
Yeah.
See, there is no speculated time. See, for example, when you have a big piece of epic, right? One epic can be broken down into, let's say, 50 to 100 features, just for example. Yeah. Now, in this, once they are broken down, we'll try to understand what are the priority features in this. We'll say that this top 5 are priority. So let's dig deep into these top 5 and deliver them.
Okay.
So it's not stipulated time, right? It's continuous and ongoing. So once these 5 features are delivered properly, the customer has received them very well. Let's dig deep onto the next set of important features. So it's an ongoing activity.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So let's move on to the next one, which is all about continuous learning culture.
Hey Kiran, maybe I have one more question here. So regarding the lean portfolio management, are we going to take it up next, or I have a question related to that?
Yeah, we can take that next. Yeah, let's discuss lean portfolio management.
So I want to know like who are the member of this lean portfolio management, and exactly like in an at a organization level how we will implement. So CEFE is a basically a framework, but what are the responsibilities or the roles of these people? You know, for example, as a Scrum Master in the CEFE environment, like what extra responsibilities the person had, you know, different roles had.
Yeah. Let's discuss lean portfolio management. Yeah. See, when you're talking about lean portfolio management, that's at portfolio level. This is not team level. This is not related to Scrum Master or product owner. This is at portfolio level where all the budgeting, funding happens. So that's at extremely high level. In this lean portfolio management, we have 3 sub-dimensions again. The first one is focusing on strategy and funding. That means we as a portfolio, what is our direction? For example, I'm working with a banking firm, private and personal banking. What is our strategy? We are losing our customer base. How can we develop that? What programs should we fund? What teams should we fund in our upcoming financial year? So that will be taken care by this enterprise strategy and funding. Here, the people who are part of that are enterprise level executives, enterprise architect, and business owners who are owning the release streams. So they will focus on that. See, lean portfolio management is a separate certification in itself, which is like a 2-day course. So we can't cover each and every concept of lean portfolio management here. We'll just briefly discuss it at a very, very high level. Yeah. In every organization, you have like a PMO department, right? So this is similar to that. This focuses on understanding what are the operations, how are the operations happening, how are the governance aspects happening. So once the strategy and investment part is done, we move on to the operations part. What happens is you have like an agile PMO department, or people call it LACE in SAFE. It's called as Lean Agile Center of Excellence. What the department will do is that will focus on facilitating various community of practice sessions across the organization. If someone needs any awareness, if someone has any questions, challenges, sharing best practices, how can we inculcate that behavior? They will facilitate multiple communities of practice. If at all Scrum Masters or someone needs some support with any templates, any challenges, they will focus on helping them so that they can carry forward their work. And then they'll also focus on your operations. So the lean PMO department will work with the enterprise architect and the business owners in an organization to focus on establishing proper governance practices. So these are the functions of lean portfolio management at a very, very high level. Like I said, lean portfolio management in itself is a 2-day course, so we can't go or dig deep into each and every point here. But if you have any questions, we can surely take and then move on to the next one. Any questions on lean portfolio management? All good? I hope I'm not on mute. All good, guys? Yeah, cool. The next one is, so like I said, right, we have discussed 5 now. So we have discussed lean agile leadership, team and technical agility, agile product delivery, enterprise solution delivery, and lean portfolio management. Let's move on to continuous learning culture. So when you're focusing on continuous learning culture, right? What are your thoughts? How do you support continuous learning? Any thoughts on that? Because even this has 3 subdimensions. I'll give you one example. In 2009, when I was working in US with Wells Fargo Bank, one day my project manager came and said that from tomorrow we are trying to go Scrum. I was a bit surprised. I was not even sure why we are going Scrum. And then I asked him, I asked my current manager saying that, can I do a CSM certification? So they approved my budget. And at that particular point of time in US, CSM certification is around $1,200. So I was pretty happy. I did my certification. I paid out of pocket. And when I came to claim, by mistake, what happened is I moved to a different department. Now, my current manager did not approve the funding because he said, when it is approved, I'm not in their team. My previous manager did not pay me because I'm no longer part of their team. So I had to still spend it out of pocket. When you are an organization, right, don't create blockers for people when they're trying to learn. In my current organization, are you aware of online learning portals like Cloud Guru, Udemy, Pluralsight? Have you heard of these? Yeah?
Yeah.
Cloud Guru, yeah. So in my current organization, with my corporate email ID, access to all the sites is free. Every year, I get 5 paid holidays to focus on any certifications or attending any seminars, webinars, learning. So when you're an organization, right, you develop a learning organization where people are encouraged to learn, where a vision is provided for them, where they can focus on the bigger picture. So focus on supporting that kind of a thing. The second one is focus on relentless improvement. See, when do we focus on improvement, right? When we feel that we are becoming irrelevant, when we feel we are in a state of danger, then we try to focus on improvement. So always be in that sense of danger. That means go beyond your comfort zone. Success only is beyond your comfort zone. So go out of your comfort zone. Try something new. Be in a sense of danger. Only then you'll learn new things. Only then you'll improve yourself. Focus on creating a culture where you're solving problems. If at all you solve a problem, understand what exactly have you learned from it. Based on that fact, improve yourself. So your milestones, your learning, focus on facts. This is a major difference between waterfall and agile. Waterfall is a plan-based approach, whereas agile is an evidence-based approach. Based on the evidence, you replan. So focus on understanding what is the evidence you have based on milestones, based on facts. Then improve yourself and develop an innovative culture. So when can you focus on innovation? What do you think? When can you focus on innovation?
When you're not constantly struggling to make ends meet. I mean,
exactly.
If people are like constantly, working towards it.
When we're not able to find no solution for that, we
yeah,
for an innovation.
Yeah. Okay. See, let's say you are just struggling up. You're just moving through from struggle to next struggle to next struggle. You're just focusing on one delivery after another delivery. You'll not focus on innovation, right? You'll just focus on delivering stuff first. Innovation is only possible when you have enough time and space. Yeah, give people enough time and space. Let them experiment, provide feedback. Only then innovation is possible. So don't just squeeze people to deliver 100% and then expect innovation beyond that 100%. You simply can't squeeze innovation, right? That's not a possibility. So give people enough time and space. So in some organizations, what the product owner will do is every iteration, 20% of the capacity, it's purely dedicated for innovation. Every sprint or every iteration, one day is dedicated for innovation or some creation of automation tools. So focus on spending some time apart from your basic day-to-day work. That will lead to innovation. All this together will help with continuous learning. Yeah, the last one is organization rigidity. How do you reach that state? Let's go to that. Even here, you have 3 sub-dimensions. When you're talking about organizational agility, right? Yeah, Ram, you have a question? Raghuram, you have a question, or was that raised by mistake?
Yeah, actually, see here, portfolio level, there are, assume that multiple teams, okay? But one team, in one team, who have a separate Scrum Master there, there is a delay or failure at the complete delivery, and my team is depend on their delivery.
Yeah.
And that is already slack or delay is there.
Yes.
In that team, and dependency is there. You know, in Microsoft project, there are a lot of dependencies in V model. So now, how to manage my team in the current sprint?
So there's an activity called PA planning we do. If you see here, this is called as PA planning. Like I said, that's not covered as part of today's webinar. But when you're working as a group of 5 to 12 teams, all the teams will plan together as part of a PA planning session. There we can understand all the dependencies and we'll create something called as a program level board. I'll quickly show you that. We'll not discuss the entire PA planning. Yeah, but here it is. Is this visible? Is this visible enough? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So here, if you see, what we do is we try to understand what are the teams: team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4, system architect support, UX team support. What are iterations? Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, iteration 4. See, iteration is nothing but a sprint. So here, if you see, what we are doing is we are tracking dependencies. Unicorns need to deliver this feature. For them to deliver this feature, there is a dependency on dolphins, bears, iguanas, and UX team. So we try to create a visible information radiator on all the dependencies that need to be streamlined together and focus on delivery. This will be discussed twice or thrice every week so that we are on track of meeting those deliveries. If at all we are not meeting those dependencies, how should we adapt our approach? That discussion will happen. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Raghuram? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we won't go deep into this. That's what I'm saying.
No,
we won't go deep into this.
Okay, fine. But what is this actually? What is this actually? How you created it? Microsoft project or it is Jira, or what is this actually? What is x-axis? What is y-axis?
So this one, the y-axis is your teams. Unicorns is a team, dolphins is a team, bears is a team, eagles is a team. Yeah. You're trying to understand what are the various teams in your current delivery model. The x-axis is your sprints: sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. Like I said, in scaled agile, we call them iterations. So over a period of 4 iterations or 5 iterations, what is our delivery plan? If at all we are working as a group of 7 teams across 5 iterations, how are we synchronizing our work? How are we visualizing our dependencies? That's what is discussed in this program board. Yeah. So if at all you are doing the leading safe course, right, we'll discuss all that. How do you facilitate PA planning? How do you create program board? What are the core competencies of lean agile enterprise? All that's part of leading safe course. Yeah.
Planning at the start, but my issue started at the 3rd sprint, 4th sprint. That time, how PA or how to communicate this?
Yeah, there are 2 things, right? If at all it's completely dependency that you missed identifying initially, we need to reprioritize that if it is really important. And the next step is, how can we eliminate these kind of surprise dependencies in the future? We need to take 2 steps. But the advantage with PA planning is, let's say you as a team, you are planning something, you'll miss a dependency. But when you are planning as a group of 5 to 12 teams together, even if you are missing one dependency from your point of view, the other team might identify that and come up with that. So you are brainstorming various ideas and you are considering everyone's point of view. So multiple perspectives will be considered there and ideas will bounce off one another so that we are understanding the holistic picture and eliminating all the dependencies. That's the whole point of PA planning, where we are not planning as one team, rather we are planning as a group of 5 to 12 agile teams.
This particular activity done by release train engineer, that Scrum person, or
yes,
both the involved Scrum Master 1 and Scrum Master 2 is going to discuss, or RTE will discuss and resolve at the portfolio level. Who is going to do this?
This will be done by all the team members. Like I said, right? PA planning is a vast concept. What happens is all the people will join like this. All the people, that means let's say you're a group of 125 team members. All the 125 team members will join for a single planning session. The release train engineer will facilitate this entire session. You still need support from individual Scrum Masters. The individual Scrum Masters will work with their respective teams and pass on the required information to the release train engineer. So the overall responsibility is with release train engineer, but the Scrum Masters should still work with their particular team members. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Sure. The last part is organizational agility. If at all you want to reach a state of organizational agility, what you need to do is all the people in your organization should develop lean and agile thinking. Rather than component teams, focus on agile teams. Don't have component teams. Programming team, testing team, system integration team. Don't have component teams. Have agile teams. Make your strategy agile. That means don't finalize your strategy for 2 or 3 years and say that I'm not going to change. My strategy is already finalized. Understand what are your opportunities. Understand what are your threats. Based on that, make sure you're in a position to change your direction properly. So make your strategy agile. And lean your business operations. That means if at all you have a process flow in your organization that you need to follow, visualize that. Identify where exactly you have delays. Eliminate those delays. That is leaning the business operations. Visualize your work, identify the delays, and eliminate them so that you are improving the overall speed of your business process. That will help you reach a state of organizational agility. So focusing on all these, you will reach a state of business agility. So if at all your organization wants to reach a state of business agility, you need to focus on all the 7 core competencies: lean agile leadership, team and technical agility, agile product delivery, enterprise solution delivery, lean portfolio management, organizational agility, and continuous learning culture. That should be your goal. Yeah, any questions before we take a quick break? All good? Yeah, cool. Madhuri, what do you think? We'll take a quick break now?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, cool. Let me stop sharing my screen.
It's 8:29 IST. We'll just take a 5 minutes break here.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Kiran. We can get started. It's 8:34.
Yes, yeah. Any questions, guys? Any questions from anyone?
Hello. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Raghuram.
Yeah, Raghuram.
This question regarding the Scrum maturity. So now assume there is a director having portfolio where two product owners, each product owner have 4 Scrum Masters. So like this two product owner have 4 plus 48 Scrum, all these things is there. Okay. So some Scrum Master is telling, yes, Scrum is good, everything is implemented. But what is that maturity? How they deciding, or what are the parameters to consider for maturity model, maturity of the particular Agile or Scrum for each team? What are the parameters? How to decide, how to measure, how to give results to the top director management portfolio?
Yeah. See, this metrics are specific to organization, Raghuram. So when I was working with JP Morgan as a Scrum Master, right, they have 5 levels of maturity defined at organization level. So what happens is I need to work with the team every quarter to ensure they reach level 1 to level 2. Each level has certain parameters defined. How are you maintaining your product backlog? How steadily you're maintaining your velocity? How exactly you're following engineering practices? Similarly, when I came to Telstra, when I was working as an Agile coach, it's the same concept here. They have a model called High Performance Software Engineering Teams, HPSC model. So it has its own set of maturity or its own steps of a set of practices. So it's not something like where we say that one maturity model will solve the problem of every organization. It depends upon that particular organization and the challenges of that organization. They need to identify those steps.
Is there a tool for commonly defined stuff like CMM levels tools? There is any tool?
No, there are no tools. See, let me give you a very, very generic example. Yeah. So let's say you want to go to gym. You have certain goals. Let's say you want to lose some weight. Whatever exercise or whatever fitness activities you are doing, will it be applicable to a different person? Maybe yes, maybe no, right? We don't know that. Yeah. It depends on your body structure. It depends on your diet. It depends on your goals. Similarly, even this maturity model, right? It will be dependent to organizational specific goals and challenges in that organization. So you need to come up based on your current challenges. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Okay, got it. I will read certain stuff. Is there anything in SAFe to guide for the measurement of this maturity of the Scrum team?
See, not Scrum team, because SAFe doesn't focus on Scrum team, right? SAFe is all about business agility, right? So there is a concept called measure and grow. So there is this maturity model that you can focus on in SAFe.
Can you zoom it? Nothing is visible. Hello.
Is it visible here now?
Yeah, where
measure
it is?
And grow.
Okay.
Yeah. See, once you have done any SAFe certification, it doesn't matter, you'll have access to this for free. So there is a specific toolkit for measure and learn. So once you do any certification, there is a specific toolkit. But if you want to download the sample, you can download it here. I'll ping you the link in Zoom chat. So here it is. Download SAFe Business Agility Self-Assessment. Yeah, you can download that. Yeah, here it is. I pinged it to everyone. So you can download this maturity model. But like I said, this SAFe is all about business agility. So this will focus on that. Yeah. Any other questions, guys, on the core competencies of SAFe or any other certifications of SAFe or anything else?
Kiran, as I asked you earlier also, so in an organization under the SAFe framework, or I will say the SAFe environment, so what exactly the roles and responsibility of for example, SAFe Scrum Master, if we are talking about. So as per the business agility, I understand that, like, we need to understand that what exactly our goals as an organization, and how we will coordinate amongst the different teams, as you explained in the framework. But apart of that, what is the extra roles and responsibilities of a person in an organization?
So when you're talking about Scrum, right, you're specific to your team. Yeah, you're just focusing on the delivery of your team, or you're focusing on making sure your team is more self-organizing. But when you're talking about scaled agile, right, like I said, it's like a group of cars, or it's like a group of people working together. Yeah. So you're responsible for your own team as well as supporting the other team. It's like a cricket team, right? You're responsible for your own performance as well as the overall goal of the team. So that's the difference here. That's the whole point of scaled agile. Let me quickly show you this. See, I'll just show you the structure of SAFe because, like I said, right, that's not part of the topic we wanted to cover as part of today's webinar. But let me show you the structure. Let me just identify that. Yeah. Okay. See, the whole concept of SAFe is based on something called as a development value stream. Okay. So in general, what you do is you focus on a project, right? In general, you generally focus on a project. Deliver project 1. Now, when you're delivering a project, it has a definitive start date and a definitive end date, right? Yeah. A project is that's what, right? A temporary endeavor that you're trying to deliver within a timeline and a budget. Yeah. Now, what will be your primary goal when you're doing projects? Just get the job done and move on to something else, right? That's your primary goal. Yeah. Rather than that, in SAFe, what we do is we form something called as development value streams. In development value streams, what you try to do is you form something called as release trains. A release train is a combination of 5 to 12 teams. So Agile team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And based on your organization dynamics, each team might have one Scrum Master, or one Scrum Master can be shared across 2 teams. It depends upon your organization structure. So if at all you're talking about standalone Agile, one Scrum Master is just responsible for the delivery of one team. But here you as a Scrum Master, you're working for the overall maturity of your own team as well as supporting other teams. So you're having a bigger level scaled agile approach in context here. Yeah. Bhavani, you have a question?
Yeah. So Kiran, to continue here, one more thing. So what are the challenges in this SAFe environment? So I want to understand a little more on it, exactly what are the benefits and what are the mainly the challenges faced in the SAFe environment?
The challenge itself is scaling, right? When you want to scale anything, it's a challenge, right? For example, let's say you're working with one Agile team. How many times have you missed your delivery? What do you think? You have to deliver a piece of functionality or a product or something. How many times have you missed it? Just as one Agile team.
Yeah, it's sometimes of
yeah, it's still challenging, right? There are some missed dependencies and unanalyzed requirements.
There's spillovers and there are
exactly. Yeah, now consider the same challenge multiplied by 10 times, working with 10 teams. If at all you don't deliver something, a different team's delivery is impacted. So how well you have to streamline your work? How well you have to synchronize your overall goals? That's the complex part here. But over a period of time, initially it can be a bit challenging to do this, but over a period of time, you'll really get the hang of it and it'll be really good. Because when you want to deliver a product or a solution at enterprise level, right? One Agile team might not be in a position to do that. You need 5 to 6 teams, 10 to 15 teams. All of them should work together in synchronization. All of them should work together on cadence. Only then you can deliver enterprise-specific solutions. So focus on that scaling so that you can reach a state of business agility as an organization by delivering useful products faster to market. That should be your goal. Yeah.
But Kiran, there must be some overheads for this, right? Like to achieve this.
What do you mean by overheads?
I mean to say, so we have to invest a lot, like to make it a streamlined thing, right? Like, so when we are talking about one agile team, like, and it's cross-functional, we try to minimize the things, right? But I'm not really sure, but I heard that like I am assuming it is more complex. There must be like a lot of overheads on that, like to implement it.
The whole complexity is all about scaling and coordination, right? Like I said, the challenges of one team are multiplied by 10 times because you are working with 10 teams. That's the whole point of complexity. And how exactly you are better collaborating there to eliminate that.
Yeah.
That will be the overhead, yeah?
All right. Thanks, Kiran. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Kiran, I
we'll
have
take
two
a couple more
questions.
questions. Yeah, sure.
The first thing is any specific certification related to the RTE? And the second question is, it's out of the scope for today, but even though, can you just give some insights on this lean budgets and guardrails?
Yeah, sure.
Just a high level understanding on those things.
Yes, sure. So the first one is, yes, we have a RTA certification, but it's a premium certification. When I say premium, based on cost wise, so if you go here, go to the safe certifications here at the top. That will give you all the certifications list here. Just to confirm, did you do any of the core certifications first, or are you already certified, or you're directly targeting leading?
No, I have done the safe leading certification.
Okay, perfect. Leading set is already done, so you already know all the core competencies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, perfect. Then once leading set is done, you can surely target RTA. So I'm just pinging you all the certification links here. So here are all the certifications. So RTA is at the bottom here. Here it is, release train engineer.
Is there any prerequisites for this for doing this certification?
See, there are prerequisites. There are certain recommended prerequisites, but it's not like a mandatory thing. But SAFE recommends something, saying that at least you have to be having some experience. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would help me how to do that role doing the certification to make me better understand.
Yeah, see, if you want to understand the role, this will surely definitely help. That's the whole point of this, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
but there are two ways, right? Certification is one thing, and having an opportunity to implement or working in that environment is a different thing. This will give you the required knowledge, but all you have to do is identify bits and pieces or opportunities or pockets of opportunity where you can implement that.
Okay.
Yeah.
My second question was if you have some time on this lean budgets, a little bit higher.
Yeah. See, when you're talking about traditional funding, right? How do you talk about that? What do you say? You all talk about cost center, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll say, hey, build this to cost center 1, build this to cost center 2. So rather than funding based on cost center, what we try to do is we try to fund something called as a value stream. You try to fund value stream 1, you try to fund value stream 2. What is a value stream? What are the lower level details in that? That's a separate topic. But in SAFE, we try to fund the value stream where there are no budget delays. But even when you're funding a value stream, you simply can't say that you have unlimited funding, right? There should be certain parameters based on which you will reassess your funding, right?
Okay.
Those are called guardrails. You have 4 guardrails. So here it is. These are the 4 guardrails. First is funding value streams, investment horizons. Like I said, there are 4 guardrails separately. Based on those 4 guardrails, you'll try to understand how should we fund a particular value stream or not to fund a particular value stream. So here they are.
Okay. It's
We'll
like
focus on
doing some kind of mapping whether we need to go ahead with this or not with respect to the budget availability.
It's not just budget availability. There are multiple factors. See, for example, let's say your release train is just doing BAU work. We don't like the word BAU, right? So if at all you're just doing defect fixing, if at all you're just doing maintenance activities, why should I fund you? You're not delivering new features, right? So if your capacity allocation is completely gone for BAU features, your funding will go down. So like that, there are four guardrails. Here are the 4 guardrails. Like I said, we'll not go deep in discussing these, but there are 4 guardrails. Based on each parameters, we'll try to take a call. Should we continue funding your value stream, or should we stop or bring it down? Should we increase it?
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you so much.
Sure. We'll take one more question, guys, so that Madhuri will get enough time to conclude the overall session. One last question.
One question asked by Balabhaskar on the chat.
What is that? Lean portfolio management is same as cost optimization. Is that the question?
There is one more before that. Share more examples on business agility as post-pandemic affects the digital world.
See, when you're talking about business agility, right? Let me give you one example. In the current program that I'm working for, I work as a release train engineer. In Australia, what happened is last year March, when entire Australia went into stage 4 lockdown. I think it's 2 years now, not even last year March. Before that, 2 years. So right? Melbourne is one of the most lockdown cities in the world. Almost all the businesses are shut down overnight, and the bank that I'm working for, all the branches are shut overnight. So the customers are calling their call center. So if at all a customer has to reach the call center, they are waiting literally 6 hours to reach the call center. Now there are multiple projects already in pipeline for the bank to be delivered, multiple initiatives, but because of the pandemic, everything is up for toss. Now, if at all you're focusing on business agility, what you need to do? Understand what is immediate customer's problem. The customer's problem is they're losing their business, they're losing their jobs, they're not in a position to pay back some of their installments. And when they're trying to call your customer care, they are waiting for 6 hours. How do you resolve their problem? One concept what the bank I work for came is, rather than customer calling call center and waiting 6 hours, can we create an online application for them? I'm impacted because of COVID. I lost my business, I lost my job, I need some support. And what we try to do is we try to analyze. If at all you are requesting for COVID support, what all do you have? We try to analyze. In that we have, the customer needs help with home loan, credit card, personal loan, business loan, equipment loan. So when we try to list all the products, you came up with 12 products. Now for a national level bank in Australia, if at all you have to create a support page for 12 products, we ended up with 30 pages form. 30 pages of online application needs to be created. Now for a bank with national level reputation, how long will it take to deliver a 30-page online application form? What do you think? Tentatively, just a guess. Any thoughts?
I'm sure this would have happened very quick, maybe within like a few hours. Or
ideally, we should.
3 days.
Yeah, ideally we should deliver it in 2 or 3 days. But like I said, right, we have to deliver. Once we analyze all the requirements, we realize that it's a 30-page application with all the legal compliance requirements and UX requirements. We have to deliver it faster. So when we analyzed and estimated this, right, this took us 6 months to deliver. The estimation was 6 months. But because of pandemic, because of challenges we have to deliver it faster. We delivered it in 1 day. What we did is, rather than this 30-page application, you just focus on the problem. So that's all about business agility, right? Business agility is how can you focus on your customer, change the direction of your program or your portfolio to better deliver solutions faster than your competition. So the question is, does the customer need all 30 pages? They don't need it, right? We are focused on two things. One, the customer should get confidence in the bank, saying that the bank is there to support them in pandemic situation. Second, the customer is waiting 6 hours on call to reach even our call center. So they are frustrated. Rather than 6 hours they waiting to reach us, let's go back to customer. Let's call the customer. So we need to eliminate two problems. So what we did is, we created a simple form. What is your name? What is your phone number? What is your address? And a small text box. What do you need help with? Once you submit this application, this will go into a backend Pega system, and you'll get a confirmation number saying that your confirmation number is 1223. We will call you in 2 days. But within those 2 days, if you want to call us, please call this number along with this confirmation number. Yeah, we were able to deliver this faster, right? What do you think? So this is one example of business agility. Understand the actual problem that the customer is facing and deliver the right solution in the right amount of time. It doesn't matter if you deliver all the 30 pages of application form perfectly after 6 months, right? The customer is already frustrated and they will leave to a different bank. So focus on delivering the right product to the customer at the right time, faster than your competition. That should be your goal. Yeah. Over a period of time, based on the customer feedback, we have evolved that form into the full 20-30 pages form. So focus on delivering what is important first and then slowly evolve your product. That should be the goal. Yeah. See, Bhaskar, lean portfolio management is not cost optimization. Lean portfolio management is like a department similar to PMO department that will focus on cost, funding, investments, operations, governance. It will have a lot of functions. It's just not cost optimization. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Over to you, Madhuri.
Very much. Thank you, Kiran, for the wonderful session and walking us through the 7 core competencies of SAFE. And I know you have joined from different time zone. Thank you very much for the support. I know it's too late for you. Thank you very much, Kiran.
Yeah.
So we'll start concluding the session today. We'll just spend a few more minutes and then we'll close the session. So as you have earned 2 SUs attending this event, you can add your SUs to your Scrum Alliance dashboard, and you can find the link to how to add SUs on your chat. Ishwari, can you please provide us the link? There you go. That is the link there. You can click on that and add your 2 earned SUs today for attending this event. Now that you can also follow us on our LinkedIn page, where the link has already been provided by my teammate. You can follow us on our LinkedIn page for more updates on events and schedules and courses on our LinkedIn page as well. I would request everybody to kindly follow us on our LinkedIn and have regular updates on events happening at PremierAgile. And we'll also spend a few more minutes. Please give us a feedback on the chat. How was the session? And we'll wait for a couple of minutes here and then we'll conclude the session. We'll just wait for a few more minutes so that we'll receive few responses on the chat and then we'll start concluding. Bhavani. Thank you everyone. you everybody for the wonderful words. And our upcoming Premier Wednesday is on May 4th. And the topic is how to write agile contracts. This is one of the most asked and interesting event on May 4th. You can also register by logging to our website, which is www.PremierAgile.com. You can reach us for our hotline numbers, which is 91542-24453 for any queries. And you can also write us an email to info@PremierAgile.com. We are just one call and one email away. Stay tuned to our website for more upcoming courses, events, and schedules of the courses as well. And you can also give us a video testimonial, a short video on this particular session, on today's session, and earn a gift voucher. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Kiran, and thank you everybody once again.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you again. Bye.
Thank you.